gentlemen, welcome back to the Tea and Crystals podcast. I am T.
And I'm Crystal.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we are so happy to have you all back for another episode of this here podcast. We got a lot of good stuff to get into this episode, but before we do, y'all know how I got to start the show. Crystal, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. First of all, happy 50th episode.
Girl, happy 50 episodes.
50
we halfway to 100. That's kind of crazy.
I know. That is crazy. When I was researching like podcasts and stuff like that, they say that a lot of podcast folks who start out, like they don't even make it past, I want to say 20 episodes maybe.
Yeah.
And then it's even rarer for them to get past like 30 episodes. So I feel really accomplished that we're still here at 50 episodes and we still plan to go, as long as possible. But yeah, my week's been good. My dad has moved back here from California. So he did the drive. So we were keeping him updated. My mom has a friend that's visiting from her hometown in Massachusetts. So we've got 3 dogs in the house, sometimes 4 if we have my brother's dog. But yeah, I mean, it's been pretty chill week. I mean, we watched the debate, or at least they had it on. They were watching it. I was just kind of like doing my own thing, occasionally listening. But yeah, it was a good weekend. How was yours?
That's my girl. That's a good question. I'm never prepared to tell.
I know.
My week was eventful. Simply for the fact that I'm just moving and shaking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just moving and shaking. I'm doing a lot of work. A lot of work to get where I'm trying to go.
Mm-hmm.
I've, moving abroad is not for the weak. I will say that.
Oh,
moving
I'm
abroad is not for the weak, especially in these times where Europe is trending more and more anti-immigrant. I will say that.
Yeah.
If you look at the news, like even Hungary and like just different countries, there's a lot going on in the anti-immigrant trend that these countries are having. Mm-hmm. The country I live in has been on it for well over a decade. But seeing it in real time, it's like, whew, this shit will break you. It really will. So just keeping my head down, working, doing what the hell I have to do to get what I got to get.
Yeah.
That's how my week has been. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the news in the Black community. Okay. Ooh. Like people dropping dead left and right. James Earl Jones. Rest in peace to James Earl Jones. Rich homie Quan. Rest in peace. Rich homie Quan. Frankie Beverly. I think he just passed. And we're recording this on a Friday. I think he just passed yesterday. Frankie Beverly and Mays. We were listening to his music all day today. And my daughter, she was getting down to that music because he be jamming.
Yeah.
So yeah, just those deaths, and it's just very some important Black figures. Frankie Beverly, he's at every Black cookout all the time. Like you've been to the cookouts, Crystal.
Yeah.
You may not know him by name, but if you hear the songs, you'll be like, oh, him.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So the end of this week has been just really reflective for me, honestly. Looking back on these people's accomplishments, and I was, when I was getting ready today, I was really thinking back on all the greats that we lost, like Whitney, Prince, Aretha, Michael, Marvin Gaye, like all of these amazing artists, and they are just slipping away from us. And I'm like, we just don't have those type of artists anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a generational thing or just thinking of all all of the legends who have gone on to glory. It's really something to think about. I just don't know if we have that level of stardom, that level of talent around anymore, like where it's really a spectacle. Yeah. I mean, that level of talent is still around. We just don't push those people to the forefront. Like back in the day, they used to make stars. You know, you didn't have to be the most beautiful, the biggest butt, the smallest waist, you know, the best dancer, the
most followers.
You know what I'm saying? The full package. You know, they could make you into. They invested in these stars, and it was a lot more difficult back then. These days it's a lot easier, and I think it really deludes, you know, what we get as a consumer. You know what I'm saying? And the artists who really deserve it based on talent are lost because they're not willing to do the antics and all this other stuff, you know. And you see a lot more people who used to be like singers, actors, and all that stuff. You know, the pool is a mile wide, but only an inch, you know, deep. And once their turn in the pool is up, girl, they going over to OnlyFans. They selling feet pics. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just saw today. You remember Janelle from Teen Mom back in the day?
Yeah.
With little Jace. Ain't that his name? Her son named Jace. Her and her mama screaming at each other all the time.
Yeah.
Do y'all want your son? You know, that lady used to get down on her. But I just seen today a little video of her who her son is like grown now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember when that little boy was anyway, talking to him. And, you know, she was kind of explaining, you know, sorry, I've been a shit mom for your entire life.
Right.
But then I went down in the comments to see what people had to say. And they were like, oh, she full of shit. And they were like, oh, you're apologizing to your son for the stuff that you did, but you just posted your booty hole on OnlyFans. I said, wait, this girl don't have no OnlyFans. So I went to her Twitter page. Homegirl got an OnlyFans. I'm like... I mean, I guess you got to make that money some way, somehow. I guess you got used to them little teen mom checks. But
yeah, I mean, when you have some sort of a following, you can make quite a bit of money on OnlyFans. It's definitely not just for the average person. You really need to have some sort of a following. I mean, I want to say there was an actress, Bella Thorne, I think. She went on there, I think she was just posting racy photos. I don't know if it was just to start off or if that's what she only intended, but she made a lot of money just from the photos.
Now that's true. The Bahabi girl, they said she was in there making some money too.
Right. But I mean, at the same time, in this day and age, especially with like celebrities, not someone like Janelle, but someone with more, you know, of a status, they are constantly on edge about their phones being hacked, things being leaked. So, I mean, I guess if you want to just go ahead and put that stuff behind a paywall so you get paid for your time, more power to you, I guess.
I don't. I don't know how, you know, I like how you go from teen mom to OnlyFans. Well, I guess that's another thing.
And on that note,
we're gonna move on.
We're gonna move on to the stories.
So our first story comes to us by way of the subreddit r/Am I the Asshole, and it is entitled "Am I the Asshole for Refusing to Move Out Even Though My Roommate is 7 months pregnant?" Yeah, girl.
Okay.
So the original poster says, "Hi guys, last week my roommate Becca found out she is not only pregnant, but 7 months along. She texted me."
Last week you found out she's 7 months pregnant? I get the feeling I already know where I'm going to go with this, but I'm going to let you continue.
I told you in the pre-show meeting, I was like, this one is going to be the immediate goop. You know what I'm saying? She texted me that we had to talk today, and I assumed that she would be moving out soon for some space when the baby comes. Instead, she told me that I have to move out to make space for the nursery and her baby daddy to move in. I'm on a terrible salary and cannot afford anywhere else to live. Plus, like, she wants me to move out right now so she can prepare for the baby. Even if I wanted to move out now, the apartment rentals in our area are either too expensive or well below living standards, so I don't want to move. She went absolutely crazy the moment I told her that I wouldn't move out because I'm ruining her motherhood experience by not letting her family live together. I pay rent here, and my name's on the lease until at least the end of the year. I'm not going to pull out of the lease. And I told her that if she wants her little family together, she should move, and I'll find someone to have the cheap rent with. That made her start crying and saying how I just want to ruin her life to the point her baby daddy had to console her and tell me to get out of their way already. Can you imagine your roommate crying and then he's like hovered over her and he's like, just get out of our lives already. It just sounds like an SNL skit. I have not heard her stop crying since, but I think I'm totally valid that I don't want to leave. Am I the asshole for not wanting to move out?
Yeah, no, you're not the asshole for that. I mean, it's really hard out there nowadays with rent and trying to find, decent living, because I understand that situation to a point. But at the end of the day, you're one person and now they're two people. So shouldn't they have double the income to be able to find a place that might meet their I think, she's thinking, I just don't want to have to go through the hassle of moving, which I get it. You're 7 months pregnant now. Although, did you not know the whole 7 months? I know there's some people that don't know. There's some people who maybe don't show. There's one girl who documented, I forget what kind of pregnancy it's called, but she documented it on Facebook. This girl was flat the whole time. She was pushing that stomach out so hard, trying to show that baby. Even at 9 months, I think she just had a very small, boop, because I guess the baby sits further in the back or something like that. But regardless of that, yeah, no, I mean, if your name's on the lease, this is an apartment that she originally was owning or renting or whatever, and then you came in later. If this is something you guys found together or whatever, or if it started off as yours, I get it. And plus, moving out right now, that's not, you have rights as a tenant that you have to be given a certain amount of days if you're going to be kicked off. But I think because you're on the lease, I don't think you can, she can just kick you out, even with that. She can't file for an eviction because I think it's either owned by both of you or rented by both of you or whatever. But yeah, not the asshole. If they want, where's the baby dad living now? Why can't she move in with him?
Because they want the cheap rent.
Right. That's
she's
what it is.
She's trying to kick her out so she can keep that cheap rent. And she's like, girl, good luck.
Right.
I will burn this apartment building down before you kick me out of this apartment. Are you crazy?
Right. Exactly.
It sounds like neither one of y'all can afford to move. Mm-mm. Honestly, especially not her now with a baby on the way. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be some close quarters.
So the mature thing probably would have been to sit down and be like, look, you can't afford to move out and I can't afford to move out, but we're having this baby. So it's going to get crowded. Until we can figure something else out, because we figured this out at 7 months, it's going to happen sooner rather than later. We just all need to be okay with all of us living in this apartment together.
Yeah.
And handle it that way if you both can't find other accommodations. And that way, at the very least, you guys can both on each of your ends be looking for a possible place that you can find and have that time to find it. And who knows, maybe they would find something that they really liked. Maybe you would find something eventually. But yeah, I get it. I'm constantly having to look for places for jobs, and I just end up commuting an hour and a half just because it's just cheaper. It's too expensive to rent anywhere.
Yeah. Girl.
So not the asshole. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Good
Okay.
luck to you.
Yes. Okay. This one says, this is also from Am I the Asshole? I think both of my stories are from the Am I the Asshole forum. This says, am I the asshole for being mad at my husband for his behavior after I got an IUD inserted? Okay. So this happened last week. Yeah. This happened last week, and honestly, I'm still kind of holding a grudge over it and need to know if I was and am being too dramatic. So me and my husband, 25 female and 31 male, have been married for only about 6 months. Prior to getting married, like when we were dating and such, I was on the pill. Due to stress during the wedding planning and some other health things, I stopped taking it and we were strictly using condoms. My husband complained about this, and honestly, I could understand. We chanced it a few times, especially during the honeymoon, but obviously that is not safe, nor do we want kids right now. So I was like, I'm going to go and get back on the pill. My husband, for some reason, got it in his head that he wanted me to have an IUD. I don't know why he was like so adamant on this, but he said it like 10 times before my appointment, in which I was just going to get back on the pill. Eventually, he asked me enough times to think about it that it forced me to Google it and consider it. The only problem is it's technically a procedure, and I am horrible with medical stuff and doctors in pain. My blood pressure is high just sitting in the waiting room, and I cannot take pain. I broke my foot last year, and my husband said it was the most dramatic he's ever seen someone with a broken bone, lol. But still, I considered it for him. So I talked to my doctor about the IUD, and she told me it's a good birth control option if I wanted to do it. I told her honestly that I'm not good with pain or doctors, which she knows. I've been seeing her since I was a teenager. But she was very kind about it. We talked a lot at the appointment, and I was comfortable to come back for it. She told me the whole ordeal. She gives me meds to take 1 to 2 hours before. She personally gives her patients a local med to reduce pain, and then she doesn't suggest driving yourself home. She also told me to expect cramping for a few hours but she said in her opinion, if you're able to fall asleep at home, you can sleep through the worst of it. She was really reassuring me, so I went through with it. So, day of, I do everything I'm supposed to do. Before me and my husband left, I set myself up a nap area in our living room where I like to lay. I had my water, heating pad, the meds she suggested, even a snack, all of it set up. I put my PJs on the bed in our bedroom. I was really trying to make myself calm. I went and got the IUD and it went well. It wasn't bad at all. When I came out, my husband was there looking very impatient. We left and he was huffing and puffing the whole time about how long it took. I was like, okay, buddy, whatever. When we got home, I walked in to get into my PJs and nap, and literally everything I had set up for myself was put away. My PJs in the dirty laundry, even though they weren't dirty. Water poured out in the sink. Meds put back away in the mess of a medicine cabinet. Snack thrown away. He even folded up my blanket and put it away. I was so aggravated with him, and he didn't even help me. He apologized and said he thought I left it all out from the night before. I didn't even know he left while I was in the appointment. I thought he was waiting there the whole time for me. But no, he went home just to touch all my stuff and made me so mad. I just got it all back out and took my nap. Again, he didn't even help, or he just said, I'm sorry. Then like an hour later, right in the prime of the cramping, he literally wakes me up to ask me what I wanted for dinner. I was livid. I could not go back to sleep in that pain anymore, even though, like my doctor said, I probably would have slept through it. I ended up snapping and yelling at him to leave me alone, to which he responded by giving me the, okay, stop being crazy look. And then he proceeded to order dinner from a place I don't even fucking like. The excuse was, oh, well, I thought you weren't going to eat because you were so mad and yelled. Like, oh my fucking God. I am still literally holding a grudge about all of this because I feel like he did not take into account my discomfort or pain when he is literally the one who's begged me to go through with it. I know that he didn't technically do anything wrong. He tried to clean because he thought it was a mess I left out from the night before, and tried to order dinner because he knew I wouldn't make it, but he did it in the worst ways possible. So am I the asshole for being mad?
Yes. Girl, shut the fuck up. Like, what is wrong with you? Listen. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you why your husband wanted you to get that IED.
IUD.
I know. I just love saying IED.
I was about to say.
IED. I think it's so funny anyway. I'm going to tell you why. Because he wanted to touch the bottom of that thing and shoot off. Okay, he wanted to shoot that club up as often as he wanted without any consequences. That pill, you may forget that pill a couple days. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to wear no condom. Don't know, man. I'm getting tired. Talking too much. I'm talking too much. But y'all ladies know. And if y'all that done lay down with a man, he didn't ask you, if you didn't had a casual situation, he didn't ask about taking that condom off. Cause it ain't nothing like it. I'm gonna be honest with you. He wanted to raw dog that thing and shoot the club up without any risks. That's why he kept bothering you. He ain't want to hear your mouth, but oh, baby, we can't. I forgot my pill yesterday. I ain't trying to hit it. I'm trying to climb on top of you. Okay, go get that IED. And go get that IED and let's get cracking. So that's why, ma'am. If you really, 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 really didn't do it, don't ever let nobody talk to you into no medical procedure that you don't want. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand that's your man or whatever, you trying to keep the relationship going, but at the end of the day, this is your health we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Bitch, if you die, there ain't no man. So please, you know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself first. So that's where you lost me, number one. Because at the end of the day, you have to advocate for yourself. Ain't nobody gonna make you go down there to the hospital and get nothing done unless you let it happen. Okay? Baby, advocate for yourself. And if he knock you upside your head for not wanting to get it done, there you go. There's your answer. Get the fuck up out of there. But as far as the shit that he did, it would have been mean. It would have been mean. Because I can absolutely see, if you didn't tell him that you set that stuff up for yourself after the procedure, bitch, how am I supposed to know? All I see is pills, food, blankets strewn across the place. Like, I'm sure it was in a neat pile, whatever. But he thought that he was going home to get the house together because he know in his head, I low-key forced this lady to go get this IED put in. Like, her coochie about to blow up any second. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to get the house straight. That way she ain't even got to worry about it. He inadvertently destroyed everything that you set up for yourself for your comfort when you got home. That sucks. But there was nothing malicious about it. So I can't be mad at him for it. You know what I'm saying? And he can't call you, girl, because you're in a procedure. You know what I'm saying? Should he have not touched it and risked you being like, well, all of this and you expect me to come home and clean this up? He took a 50-50 chance. He ended up on the wrong side of that 50 by being proactive. The food, again, him being proactive. Now I'm on your side. He shouldn't have got you about your sleep. Don't get me about my sleep. Ask me about no food. You take a guess or order something that you know I like and make sure it's here. And make sure I wake up to, is that Mr. Chang's? Is that a number 17? With a Snapple? Baby, come over here. You know what I'm saying? That's how he should have handled it. So that's where I'm with you. He shouldn't have woke you up about no food. And he still should have got you something. Even though now at that point, I would have wanted to be that petty. I would have wanted to just order myself something and be like, girl, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? But I would have ordered you something. But he is the asshole for that one specific point. Counterpoint, Crystal.
I don't... because my brain always wants to think the worst of things. I'm assuming this is obviously a breakdown of communication somewhere. Mm-hmm. Because that's the context I need. Did you not explain to him what your doctor said? Was he not there and you weren't saying like, okay, I'm putting my PJs here, so that's what I'm going to get into when I come home? Was he not seeing you make your little nest of stuff, putting the stuff here the night before or the morning of? I don't even remember which one it was, but like it obviously was within a time span of you going to the doctor. Like, so was he not seeing you do this stuff? That's what's confusing to me in terms of why would you look at that and think, I just saw her put all this stuff up without using any of it. So I'm going to then come in while she's in this procedure to clean it all up. And then I think also she's making it, and we don't know obviously, but she's making it seem like he was just like, oh, my bad. Sorry. So you're coming off of probably, I don't know how the procedure goes. So I don't know if you have any, you're obviously doped up on pain meds, and then now you're in some pain. And obviously you as a man don't know how painful and uncomfortable the cramping can be for women. So you're very sensitive, and to be upset about something and be emotional about something and then have your partner just be like, oh, my bad. That's so triggering to me too, because I know when I'm in pain, I am very sensitive. And so when someone treats me badly, it's like 10 times worse, looking back on it later, I might be able to see it clearer, but in that moment, it feels 10 times worse. So that's why I'm like, there must have been some sort of breakdown of communication where maybe you didn't express to him what you were planning to do. But if you did, and he still did this, like
then
we have red flags everywhere. So that's why I'm trying not to just assume, this may just be a communication thing that you guys have to work on. You're newly married, you're newlyweds. This is a new thing. Now, the waking up in the sleep. Yes. I just find it hard to believe that she wouldn't have told him your doctor suggested you trying to sleep through the pain. Like, did you guys not have a conversation about your doctor's appointment for this? That's what
that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like to me she did not relay anything to him.
Right.
She was just like, I'm going to do this. Like, I know what I need to do. And I don't need to tell him because I know what I need to do. So that kind of left the floodgates open because on the point of putting the stuff away, right? It's happened to me where my wife has, done something or put something a certain place that is not usually in. And I go behind her and I put it back. And then she be like, boy, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I just put the stuff up. I was going to do such and such. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, and when she hears this episode, she's going to be keying because it happens quite often. So when you were explaining that part of the story, I was like, I can absolutely see that happening. I can absolutely see him going in there with the best of intentions and inadvertently fucking everything up for her because he just did not know. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Because
like
it's just also
it's a breakdown of communication in this situation.
Yeah. Because it was the fact that she was saying, like, when she got out, he was huffing and puffing, like being impatient. He just didn't seem, from her perspective, to be comforting in any way. Like, there didn't seem to be any sort of comforting. Like, and some people just don't have that in them, I guess. You would know, she would know better. But I think what she was looking for was comfort more than anything. And she didn't get it at all. And then to add insult to injury, then you come home, all your stuff is away. But yeah, I agree. The whole waking you up, and then the fact that he didn't get you anything. Like, I'm sorry. We're 6 months into this marriage, and you messed up all my stuff, woke me up, and then just want to. It's to me, it's very much giving. Like, there are men in particular who really like to blame women's periods for why they're upset during certain times of the month. I've had people in my family where if I got upset or emotional about something, they'd be like, gosh, are you on? They called it my comma for some reason. Are you on your comma? And I'd be like, I don't have to be on my period just to be upset about something. Like, it's very much giving that, like, oh, you're cramping right now, so you're crazy. Anything that you're feeling right now is just you being crazy.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's that lack of comfort and maybe empathy is what she was looking for. But yeah, the fact that he didn't even think, like, let me get her something. Oh, I didn't think you were going to want to have dinner at all.
All of these things individually are small things. I think they just all compounded. And now she's just like just thinking about like, how did you fuck up so much so fast?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if he didn't do that stuff at the house, like if he didn't wake her up, if he didn't get rid of her stuff, that drive home, she would have never mentioned it. It would have been nothing. The little humbles and grumbles, if they even were humbles and grumbles, you would have never been mentioned. She would have never thought about it again. You know what I'm saying? But since everything happened in succession, every little thing is being microanalyzed, and I'm like, y'all need to talk. This is not that serious. It's not that big of a deal. I understand you felt like he should have played a better role in your recovery. And if that's the case, you should have communicated with him. All of these things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I really need you to make sure A, B, C, and D are done the way I want them. Not saying that you have to tell a man what you want done and all that stuff in addition to get the procedure. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if there's something specific that you want done or something specific you want left in place that can be left up to interpretation, you need to communicate those things so when you come out on the other side, those things are seamless. Right. You know what I'm saying? Just talk to one another. Just talk to one another. It's not a bad thing. Sometimes people act like you shouldn't communicate with your partner. I shouldn't have to tell them this, that, and this, and that. They should know. Baby, you're dating a human being, not a psychic, not a magician. Like,
I just want you to remember all this because we're going to come back to this a little bit later on in our middle section. I'm really excited about all this. All right. So moving on, let's go to your portion of the middle section.
Yes, let's move on with the show. Today I have some celebrity nuggets for you, Crystal.
Okay.
This has been a quiet week. As I mentioned at the top of the show, girl, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if, the sky is about to invert on itself and we just all about to be shot out into space. I don't know what's going on. Speaking of, did you see that SpaceX put a commercial flight into space? And it was the first commercial spacewalk. I think it was yesterday.
No.
Yeah, if y'all haven't seen it, I can't remember what the mission was called. But yeah, they shot up the other day. I got to watch it because it was like, I think it was like 5 o'clock at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, y'all time. So that was prime time for me, mid-morning. So I got to watch it. And it was really, really cool to see. And then I saw a clip of the spacewalk on Twitter earlier today. So it was pretty, really cool. Shout out to
I'll look at
fuck Elon Musk, but shout out to SpaceX. Y'all are doing some amazing work over there. But into these celebrity nuggets, Crystal, did you happen to see the 2024 presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump?
For the most part, yes. They, like I said, my mom and her friend ended up watching it, but I was not paying as much of attention to, because you know me, I'm not huge on politics. I just like to get the highlights of things. Like I just prefer to wait till the next morning and just get the rundown and everything. But yes, for the most part, I did see that debate.
So okay, before we continue, is it Kamala or Kamala?
I don't know. I think it's Kamala.
Yeah,
Kamala. I think it's Kamala Harris.
Kamala
Yeah,
Harris.
I feel because I hear it both ways. But I think like one of the ways is people like purposely mispronouncing her name.
Yeah, I think Kamala is wrong.
I think so.
It's Kamala.
I think it's Kamala.
Girl, anyway, I watched it the next day. In the morning that I got up, the first thing that I saw, because I am, I'm a former political science major.
That's true.
Very much thought that was going to be my life. So I am not as bad as I used to be a really bad political junkie. Like, goodness gracious. I watched nothing but the news, stayed on top of everything. I've been delivered. Especially since moving out of the United States. I've been delivered. Thank you, Jesus. But the first thing I saw, because I had to see it as soon as I woke up, was, what happened? And the first thing I saw on Twitter was Trump saying, "They're eating cats and dogs." I was like, Oh, and I had no context, Crystal. That is the only thing I had. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What the fuck do you mean they eating cats and dogs? Who? Where? In the United States? Like, what you mean? Why did that even come up? So Crystal, what did you think about that exchange of and Trump's claim that in Springfield, Ohio, Haitian immigrants are stealing people's cats and dogs and pets, as he said, and eating them?
Low key, I was a little happy it wasn't an Asian person for once. When it comes to the eating of the cats and dogs. But the thing is, I wasn't surprised by it. Like, it wasn't shocking to me that he would make such a claim. Because once you dive deeper into it, this is a pattern when it comes to these types of claims. Because there is a small bit of truth that they then will embellish to fit their narrative. So while, yes, in Ohio, there was body cam footage of a Black lady, I think, eating a cat or something like that. She got arrested for it. There's body cam footage of it. She wasn't Haitian. She was a resident of Ohio. She wasn't an immigrant. She was from Canton, Ohio, not from Springfield. And she was, from what I'm understanding, she was completely hopped up on drugs. So I don't know if that's the incident his team saw and were like, okay, this is this is what we're going to say. With that being said, of course, there's now people who are trying to claim, I mean, you just go on any sort of forum and it's the same. There's people who are saying, yes, this is happening. There's people saying, no, it's happening. This person saying, yes, I'm from Springfield. This has been a thing for a while. Another person is like, I'm also from Springfield. This has never been a thing. It's a back and forth thing. I mean, unless you want to go to Springfield, Ohio yourself and take a wander around the area to see if anyone's stealing someone's pets or something like that. But regardless, I wasn't surprised by it. And you can't convince anyone one way or the other whether or not it's true or not. I mean, people just have to make up their own minds.
Would tell you, bitch, if the Haitians aren't eating cats and dogs in Haiti, why the fuck would they come to America and start eating cats and dogs?
To continue doing it. They're trying to have a better life.
To start doing it.
Right.
They don't do that shit in Haiti.
Yeah.
So why would they come to the United States and all of a sudden be like, you know what, we want to eat?
That's why
Spot, Rover, Clementine, y'all look delectable. Let's just mix y'all up in some curry and you know what I'm saying? Like, look, what the fuck?
That's why I was just happy it wasn't an Asian. They would have a field day with that.
Overtly bigoted. I won't even call it racist. I won't even call it racist, but it is. But it's so overtly bigoted that I just think it's so sad that we have gotten so desensitized to this stuff. Imagine Mitt Romney saying this shit back in 2012.
Oh, right.
Imagine, girl. Imagine. I remember when Mitt Romney and Obama were running against each other, and Mitt Romney was trying to tear down Obama's record on the economy. That was his golden ticket. It was all about the economy. Where are those Republicans at?
Right.
Where are they at? And I remember when I was in college, that was my freshman year. And I remember being in the dorms and this girl who was actually a friend of mine and her parents were really, really nice. You know, bumfuck Virginia people. Raised cows and shit. They invited me to their farm. I didn't go because I didn't think I was going to come back home. Very lovely people though. I remember being in the dorms and when they announced that Obama won, I heard her scream. I went to her room because all the dorm room doors was open. She was on the floor hollering, crying like the world had just ended because Obama won. I say that to say with the desensitization, being desensitized as we are today to what Donald Trump says and seeing what has happened the last time that he lost an election and seeing how his numbers aren't moving, no matter what he does, no matter what he says, I am just so nervous for this next time around. Yeah. I just hope everything is going to be okay. I don't, I'll try to keep the politics out of the podcast.
Yeah.
But it's so extreme that it's like, all right, y'all, like chill out.
Yeah.
We really have to look at one another in the eye and be like, listen, is this country worth us tearing each other apart? Because think about it, girl. What the fuck is a country other than a collective thought?
Right.
I want y'all to listen to those words. What is a country other than collective thought? What is this country? What are the documents that that country, because I ain't there, was founded on? Collective thought put onto paper that we all in this social experiment agree to abide by. And Trump is playing on that line. He's playing on that line where he's like, girl, all this shit made up. That's the subtext of his entire candidacy. That's the subtext. Girl, all this shit is made up. We can rewrite the rules. When the rules no longer work for us, we can rewrite them. As long as enough of us agree, bitch, we can do what we want. Anyway, moving on to the next topic, because I'm about to, girl, I'm about to put that political science hat back on.
I know, right?
Kendrick Lamar, Super Bowl. He was announced to be the headliner at the next Super Bowl. I am a huge Kendrick Lamar fan. Have been since way back in the day. We talking mixtape times, okay? Right. All the way up to the latest album. Favorite album, Mr. Pimp a Butterfly. I mention it to say that a lot of people are upset. A lot of Lil Wayne fans are upset because it's going to be in New Orleans. Lil Wayne is from New Orleans, and they feel like Lil Wayne should have been given the halftime show. Crystal, what say you?
To be perfectly honest, I don't care.
That's what I was expecting. Yeah.
I was about to say, like, I enjoy the halftime shows, but whoever plays it, like, whatever. I don't even watch it. I don't even like football. Like, I don't watch football like that. The only time I ever watch football and enjoy it was during, like, when my brother would play and stuff like that, or it's someone I know, so I'm rooting for that particular person. But yeah, I don't care. I can see. I didn't know why. Like, I was seeing all the mentions of it and people being upset. I didn't know why. Like, why they thought Lil Wayne would have it over Kendrick Lamar, especially since, no offense to Lil Wayne, but we ain't really heard from him for quite a bit. Okay. Whereas I'm more familiar of hearing Kendrick Lamar's name in more recent years than I am of hearing Lil Wayne. But hearing that he's from New Orleans, okay, I guess I get it. Are they beefing at all? Like Kendrick Lamar and Lil Wayne, do they have beef with each other? No,
and this is where it gets messy, right? So Nicki Minaj the other day, she piped up online because Nicki Minaj was signed by Lil Wayne, made popularized by Lil Wayne. And she felt some type of way. When I say some type of way, to the point where she went after Jay-Z. Anybody familiar with the music industry knows that Jay-Z and Beyonce play a pivotal role in Black entertainment music. And Jay-Z has, slight control, him and Roc Nation, over the halftime show with the NFL and Apple Music. Unbeknownst to Nicki Minaj, Jay-Z did not make this decision alone. There are a lot of steps that these things have to go through. Allegedly, Taylor Swift was offered it. She declined. So that just goes to show you that Lil Wayne was never in the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see Lil Wayne as part of an ensemble
Yeah.
Super Bowl performance.
And that's why I'm saying, like, if him and Kendrick aren't beefing, like, who's to say there isn't something going on behind the scenes that they could bring him on stage or something like that. I mean,
that's what everyone who has sense says.
Yeah. So I'm just like, it's just a lot of noise for me. I would just say, you know, and who's to say Lil Wayne even wants to do all that? I mean, maybe he does. He, like I said, he hasn't really been in the news. Maybe he needs that paycheck. That's
actually the next. Well, Lil Wayne don't need the money. He don't need the money.
I was about to say.
Because I mean, girl, his discography alone is enough for him to eat forever. Plus,
I was about
Drake
to say,
and Nicki Minaj, like, baby,
considering the fact that he hasn't really been in front of the camera, he's been more behind the scenes. Like, is this something he was even wanting to do?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because that's the third component. He released a video today saying that he was very much hurt and very much disappointed that he did not get the opportunity to perform or to headline the Super Bowl performance in New Orleans. So with that information, it really doesn't move the meter for me. I'm sorry. It
doesn't. Yeah, me either. At the end of the day, like, I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm sure it is hurtful, but at the end of the day, I don't know what your relationships are with any of these people anymore. And I mean,
allegedly
honestly,
they're good. Allegedly, he was just with Jay-Z. Him and Jay-Z have always had a very good relationship. Jay-Z has, said publicly that he thinks that Lil Wayne is a better rapper than he is, and I think it's been said vice versa. So there is love between them. I think that a lot of artists went after Jay-Z for this. And I just feel like it would just point it in the wrong direction. And I feel like instead of making this huge to do about it, y'all should have hit Kendrick and his team in the DMs and be like, listen, I understand this is your moment. Can you carve out a smooth 2 minutes of your performance? I think they have like 8 minutes or something like that. Or I'm not sure, but I know it's a very short time, 13 minutes, something like that. Carve out a smooth 2 minutes. Let New Orleans do their thing for them 2 minutes and get back to your show.
Right.
Schedule an outfit change in them 2 minutes and let us do our thing. And everything is solved.
Perhaps they thought that by possibly, like, in order to have Lil Wayne, they probably felt like it would be very similar to an Usher performance, which they just had, where he was going to be having a lot of different artists coming in to do this performance. Because let's be honest, with Lil Wayne, most people know his songs in an ensemble setting. It's with other people also on tracks with him. And a lot of those people are like Usher and stuff like that. So perhaps they were just trying to not have a repeated performance.
And
in a way,
you bring up a very good point with that. I think for mainstream, people know his more commercial songs. Whereas, black people, we know the deep cuts, the mixtapes and all that stuff. Last story before we move on. I don't know if you've seen anything about this. Unc, a.k.a. Shannon Sharp, had a mishap on Instagram where him and a young lady were involved in fornication and cuddlingus. And Unc accidentally left his Instagram open, and I don't know if his knee hit it. I don't know if his right ass cheek hit it. I don't know if an elbow hit it, but he swiped and he clicked in all that movement and went live. I didn't see the video because I'm not a pervert.
Right.
That's none of my business. I don't need to know these people personals, whatever. I did see that headboard moving though. That headboard was shaking like a hooker in church. Okay. It was. Shout out to you, Unc. If that headboard is any indication, You was in that thing. I can't imagine how mortified I would be, Crystal. How would you even handle the situation if you were in that instance? If you thought that you were in a private moment, and when you get that towel and you dab your forehead, wipe your chest off, and you look over, and your comments are scrolling like, "Bitch, get up, turn the live off, girl,
I think, honestly, I think I would just be like, well, I hope you enjoyed the show. And then just close the computer. Because what else can you say? Like, it's already happened. Yeah. It's not leaving. It's never going to be erased.
Oh, girl.
I don't think it would be one of those things where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm so sorry. You weren't supposed to see that.
I mean, lucky for Unc, people were pleased. They didn't see the performance, but people were pleased from what they heard from the performance. So he got a lot of kudos.
I was about to say, the only thing you can do is, let it sit and then come out and be like, hey, look, I'm really sorry. You weren't supposed to see that. That was supposed to be for us, which I think is what he did. I think he released an apology. But I mean, what else can you do? I mean, I'm not going to go do community service because you think I need to be jailed or something.
And
people make mistakes.
And already said that they're not doing any disciplinary action because they was like, God damn.
Right. Like your embarrassment enough is probably like you already feel bad enough that it happened.
That's the thing. He not embarrassed. He's very much proud because they was like, you sounded like a grizzly bear. And they was like, you sound like a grizzly. Now, mind you, if you've ever heard, there's a video that's been circulating online for years of a turtle humping, and the turtle is like, if my shit leaked, it may have been they were like, T, you sound like a deflating balloon. You should be embarrassed. And if I was on the 17th floor, I would have jumped out of the 18th floor. Okay, I would have made sure it was the end. Okay. Yeah. So those are the celebrity nuggets. Those are the celebrity nuggets. Thank you for joining me on this epic quest.
Right.
Of the world is on fire. Are you ready to move on with the show, Crystal?
Yes, I actually have a small little middle portion that I wanted to bring to the table with you. So on TikTok, there is a question that's been circulating. This man came, I don't know if he came on this podcast or if he's a part of this podcast. I've never heard of it. I can't tell you the name. I'd have to look it up. But he was I think it was all men, and they were having a conversation. He brought the story up. So I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to the store, okay? Okay. You're going to Costco or something like that. You said, hey, you look to your wife and say, hey, babe, I'm going to the store. And she goes, okay, kiwis are on sale. What does that tell you?
That kiwis are on sale and she probably wants some.
She probably wants some. Why would you think that?
Because why the fuck else would you tell me that? Like, why would I need to know that kiwis are on sale? Like, right. Okay, girl, you want some? Like,
right. So you'd probably get the kiwis for her.
I wouldn't get them off a rip. I'd be like, hey, did you want kiwis? Like, is that why you told me?
So this man comes on here, and this is the story he brought up. He said, I told my wife I'm going to the store. She said, okay, kiwis are on sale. He didn't say anything. He turned around and walked away and came home without any kiwis, and is blaming her for not telling him, like, because she was upset, like, why didn't you get any kiwis? His friends are all like, but she like, why else would she say they're on sale? But he's like, no. So this has been a trend now where women are going up to their husband going, hey, babe, if I say this to you, what do you automatically assume? What is your reaction? How do you feel? Okay. And a lot of them are like,
I absolutely see both sides, right? Because you see me My answer was okay. Because my next question is, why did you tell me that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I wish I could get my wife on this podcast, but that's too much me and y'all.
Yeah.
Because this is a conversation that she and I have pretty often. And the reason I answered it like that is because we have had this conversation pretty often where I don't know if it's women or some particular women. I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for all y'all hoes. Girls, ladies, women. Whichever you prefer. I don't know about all y'all, but there does tend to be the open-ended information. Me being the person that I am, I want clarity in all things before I move forward, right? Because if I come home without them kiwis and then you give me lip about coming home without them kiwis, I'm cussing you the fuck out. Because why would you come at me like that? You didn't explicitly tell me that you wanted kiwis. Okay? You don't know what I'm thinking about when you told me that. I'm trying to remember my grocery list so when I get to the car, I can type it in my notes app. I'm not paying you no motherfucking mind, girl. Kiwis are on sale. Okay. And I'm going to keep it pushing. You could have told me George Bush is sporting his driveway. All right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, kiwis are on sale. Can you grab 2? You see how easy that was? You know what I'm saying? Now, because I don't. If a man said, screwdrivers are 30% off today, or they got 30% off screwdrivers at the Home Depot, she gonna think, all right, carry your ass down and get some. Like she ain't gonna automatically be like, all right, well, let me go pick up this man a tool set. You know what I'm saying? Or something. Like, I understand groceries are a community item for the home. Yeah. I get that. The tools are not. But I think the principle is the same.
I think that's where
you want something, explicitly say that, because it's not complicated to say it. Hey, baby, kiwis are on sale. Can you grab half dozen? Thank you. Boom. All of this. But if you know your partner and you have had these conversations and these things have happened before, then you know when they mention those type of things, you follow up. That don't mean automatically go get it. That mean you ask, oh, all right, did you want some? Cool. How many you want? Word. Go to the store.
See, the way he gave his interview, I think, is what is really telling. Because for a lot of people, now, granted, these are assumptions. The way he went about it is it's almost like he knew his wife wanted some kiwis, but because she didn't specifically ask, he wasn't going to get those kiwis, and he was going to play dumb about it and be like, well, you didn't say you wanted kiwis. But people bring up a lot of examples. So you brought the tool one, but then people bring up, if you're at your friend's house and he goes, you're like, I don't know, you see a beer commercial and he's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's beer in the fridge. You're assuming that means, okay, I can go get a beer if I want one. He's not just telling you, oh, there's beers in the fridge, just, because they're there. It's like the same thing. Or if you're at work and someone's like, comes by to you and they're like, oh, hey, there's pizza in the break room. What your reaction is, okay, I can go get pizza if I want.
That's not the same thing, because
it is.
But you're explicitly telling me something.
That's exactly what she did. Kiwis are on sale. No,
you're telling me something that's happening. Like, you're telling me kiwis are on sale. Okay, kiwis are on sale.
Meaning she wants kiwis.
That's a leap that you're not making in that beer situation. Like, if me and you are sitting here, Crystal, and I'm telling you, Riverside said turn up your mic, or Riverside said there's something wrong with your mic, or Riverside said there's a problem with the recording. Like, that's implied that you need to do something about it.
Right.
But the way I told you, you're going to do something about it. There's no extra step there. If you tell me, hey, there's beer in the fridge, you're telling me I can go get a beer out the fridge. Right. Hey, it's pizza in the break room. Oh, okay, cool. I'm going to go get the pizza out the break room.
Right.
Kiwis are on sale.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Knowing that I'm
There's
going
a lot
to the
of shit
store.
on sale. Like what
knowing I'm going to the
do
store
you want
and
me
you
to get kiwis?
Yes.
But you're not telling me go get kiwis. You're just telling me that the kiwis are on sale.
Therefore, I want kiwis.
But you see how there's an extra step there where there's not in the beer and the pizza situation. Like you're telling me that this thing is available to you.
Yeah. And it's the kiwis.
These things are available to me. I can go get a beer or not get a beer. I can go get pizza or not get pizza. By that same logic, I can get them kiwis or not get them kiwis. You're not telling me go get them kiwis.
But I am.
But you're not.
But I am.
You see what I'm saying? These are those examples aren't really examples because those are options. I can go through this thing. This is a possibility for me. I can go get these kiwis, or I could not get these kiwis. Yeah, they on sale, but I don't want the kiwis. I don't care about the kiwis.
But your wife
you
does.
do as my wife. So you should say, "Hey, kiwis on sale. Can you get 6?" Boom. I know you want kiwis.
Or I can just say kiwis are on sale, and she wants some kiwis.
Depending on your relationship, if you go,
I know. I was about to say,
then you know.
He looked like an older gentleman to me. I'm going to assume maybe he's been married for a while. That's why I can only assume. He didn't specify how long they've been married, but I feel like if you've been in a relationship long enough, then you would know your person wants this.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, especially if it's a new relationship. But I think the issue also is that he didn't follow. Like I said, if you watch the interview, to me, it's because he's retelling it, but it almost seemed like he knew she wanted kiwis, but because she didn't specifically ask, and he didn't specifically go, well, do you want some kiwis? He was just, it was almost like, I'm not getting those fucking kiwis. You didn't say shit. Like to me, that's how it felt.
Yeah. Because it wouldn't have happened to me because I would have asked.
You would have asked.
Because I would have been like, why are you asking me?
And that's what most people said. Something. They're like, well, I would ask you, do you want kiwis? Or they were like, oh, well, I know you, so I would get kiwi. And then one lady was even like, when she was asking him how he felt, he was basically like, he kind of skipped over it. He was basically like, well, I mean, it doesn't hurt me to get you kiwis even if you didn't want them. Like, because I know you like them. So it'll be used type of thing. But anyways, I think we have time for one more story. So let's get to your last story because I think you really were excited about it.
Oh, excuse me.
Timmy just coughing up
throat is giving. We got a whole lot to do after this. My throat is giving out. Okay, let me get my shit together. So this oh my God. Hold on, excuse me.
Timmy doesn't know how to speak. He's been talking too much. That's what happens when you have kids. You use your voice more often than you think about.
For real. Lord have mercy. My shit, whole shit closed up. All right.
I'll go days without speaking.
Okay.
I don't have that problem.
So this one comes to us from the subreddit r/relationship advice, my favorite subreddit. So it says, my fiance started acting weird after I told her why I didn't want to have sex with her. What do I do? Trigger warning. There is mention of SA in this letter. And I hope that I can get through it because my throat is giving out. So it goes like this. My fiance and I have been together for 5 years and are getting married at the end of September this year. We have never had sex in this time because I told her that I did not want to yet. A couple of weeks ago, she drank too much and started getting a little horny and wanted to initiate intimacy, but I told her no. She insisted and even put her hands down my pants. I left her in the room and slept on the couch. The next day, she looked pretty embarrassed and defeated and asked me why I didn't want to have sex with her. And I told her the truth, that when I was little, I was abused and that shit really traumatized me. I had never mentioned this and I have always tried to avoid the subject. She understood and told me that it would be good to go to therapy. But after that, she's been acting distant towards me. She doesn't kiss me. She doesn't hug me. She doesn't even want to cuddle with me anymore. She literally prefers to sleep on the edge of the bed so that our bodies do not touch. Why is she acting this way? Is it awkward? I'm really worried that she took this the wrong way because we are getting married soon.
Honestly, she's probably just scared of triggering you. I think that's probably a pretty good. I mean, you're not going to know for sure. You're definitely going to have to obviously talk to her, because if you have been denying this common thing for a while, because how long were they together?
5 years, girl.
5 years. That's why I'm like, that was a long time. This isn't like you just guys got together a year ago, got engaged, and this hasn't been a quick thing. So, and she might be feeling hurt too, because it's been 5 years and at no point during the relationship did you ever tell her. So, we live in a society nowadays where, men are constantly justifying their cheating and their infidelity because they say, well, men have needs. This is what men do. We have to have this. And so you are here, the complete opposite. And she not knowing it's because of something that happened to you in your childhood. So she might be feeling insecure. She might be thinking, you don't want her. You don't find her attractive. You're just settling for her, maybe. I mean, there's a million things that we can come up with that are always 10 times worse than they actually are, or have nothing to do with it because you guys don't communicate. But in this instance, she's probably hurt that you never mentioned it in the 5 years you've been together, and now she doesn't know what she can or can't do, what's triggering for you, and she might be feeling embarrassed that she unintentionally caused you to feel uncomfortable by touching you in such an intimate way, and she's thinking, we're about to get married, how are we going to be intimate if I can't even touch you? I think, obviously, I think this is just, again, a communication thing. This is something you're going to have to, you've now dropped this, kind of bomb on her that you went through this. And now there's she has to figure out how to navigate this to your comfort. And I think that's probably what it is. She doesn't know how to do that.
Ready for my hot take? I think she's trying to figure out how to get about this marriage. She ain't trying to walk down that altar. She is like, listen, I empathize with you, baby. And I am so sorry that happened to you. I really want you to get the help that you need. But at this point, I am an expert level DJ. Okay. This thing got to get scratched.
Right.
Okay. And unfortunately, in that way, I see now that we are not compatible.
Right.
And as much as I empathize with your situation, I do think that it is unfair. And I understand your business is your business, but if you're with this lady for 5 years and you're going to marry this lady, it's a little fucked up that you did not mention this to her beforehand as the reason why. And to be honest, you were lucky that she accepted that as, that you just didn't want to for 5 years.
Right.
That's extreme.
Yeah. I feel like we're missing some sort of context.
There has to be some type of religious context or something.
Yeah. Because why was it okay for 5 years for it not to happen?
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like the reason the fact that they're getting engaged is now why she's suddenly pushing this, because she's like, well, we're getting married anyway, so we might as well be able to do whatever we want. That's why I feel like we're missing something for why it was okay for 5 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
but
it could be that.
Like because it's not like you're going to get married and everything is going to change. Like the trauma is still going to be there.
Yeah.
Even if you wrapped it in, your reasoning in religion, the real reason is your trauma. And that's not going to disappear when you get married. So is she going to be trapped in a sexless marriage? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where she's at now, where she's coming to that realization where she's like, oh no. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if I could do this.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's a little unfair, because maybe you could have gotten help sooner and worked on that side of your relationship to make it work for both of you.
Yeah.
But you kind of took that away from her. Mm-hmm. So you can't be surprised if she's like, you know what? I don't think I can do this.
Right.
I don't know. We have a lot of, that's a big part of your relationship that she didn't even know was there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That y'all have never worked through. She don't really know you as well as she thought she did to marry you. Yeah. This is a lot, you know? So I wouldn't even worry about the awkwardness of it. I don't think you did anything necessarily wrong other than not telling her sooner. I just think that you need to give her space. Have that conversation, be like, you know what, I understand that it's a lot that you're going through right now. And have that honest conversation. Do you still want to go through with this marriage, with this wedding?
Yeah.
Give her that option and give her the space to say no.
Yeah. Because it could be a mixture of both of our things where she's she's second guessing what she can or can't do with you, and also wondering if she can even live up to what you need, be what you need at the end of the day. But yeah,
because at the end of the day, she might be a freak in the morning, a freak in the evening.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. You know, that's it's an important part. People say it like it's taboo, but it is. It's important.
Yeah. And I think that's another reason, another thing when it comes to these conversations, how it differs with men and women. Because I think a woman, generally, they let their partners know stuff like that pretty early on, so that in hopes of helping their partner better understand not to push me in this way because I've had this traumatic, whereas men try to internalize it. I think there must have been, like you said, I feel like there's some sort of religious aspect, because I feel like he thought he was safe as long as they were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's, I'm with you 100%.
Talk to your partner.
Oh, and talk to that lady. Okay. Talkspace.com/ okay. Girl, one day we're going to get it. Well, thank you for another wonderful episode, Crystal. Girl, we made it. We got a lot of editing to do.
I know.
And thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Tea and Crystals podcast. If you like what you heard, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you are listening. And make sure that you also leave us a written review. If you like what you saw, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe on YouTube. If you have any questions, comments, or you would like to share your own story, please do so at teaandcrystal@gmail.com. That's teaandcrystal@gmail.com. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook by searching Tea and Crystals Podcast. Follow us on TikTok at Tea and Crystals Podcast and on Instagram at Tea and Crystals Pod. Make sure you look in the description on wherever you are listening or watching for all of those links. And make sure that you pay attention to our stories, because we have been going live pretty consistently. And we would love to see you all there. We do switch social media platforms every week so far. So make sure that you look out for our stories to see where we're going live next. Now, Crystal, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we get the hell up out of here?
Thank you guys once again for being with us for our 50th episode. We hope you enjoyed it. And we hope we get to see you guys on the lives. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Bye.
Bye, y'all.